What is going on, guys? Victor here, and in today's video there's actually no fishing at all, but I got a beautiful Florida snook right here. And for those of you guys who don't know, it is snook season, and these are actually one of the hardest fish to catch in Florida because you can only keep them between 28 and 32 inches. So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to fillet this bad boy up in case you do catch one yourselves. But before we move on to that, I want to get your guys' input and I want to get you guys involved. And what I'm talking about is a few weeks ago I started a clothing brand under the title of Land Shark Fishing Gear. So one thing that I really want to do is I'm trying to see the direction I want to take it, whether I want to keep the name, get another name, and that is why I want you guys, I want to give something back to you guys to kind of help me and to get your feedback so we can grow this thing together. So you guys have 3 chances for a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away shirts like this. You guys will get to pick what you want. This is a Snook shirt. It's a design I had made by a marine artist. It was really lifelike, beautiful, dye sublimated shirt. And then we also have a shirt like this. This is the tarpon shirt. And I mean, I'm talking really just vivid, lifelike, just beautiful pieces of art. I mean, I really like the way they came out. And I want to thank you guys for anyone who has already purchased one in the past. So I'm going to be giving away these shirts on 3 different platforms. On YouTube right now, if you guys go ahead and comment below what you guys think of the following brand names, because I need your guys' help. Tell me what you guys think of the name Legacy, spelled Legasea. I'm gonna have it on the screen here. Comment below whether you guys like it, hate it, are partial to it, or if you guys just think I should keep the name as Land Shark Fishing Gear. Or if you guys have a different idea completely, and you know, who knows, I might pick your name. And so that is one way to win a shirt. I will pick a winner randomly from a comment generator, so go ahead and comment below. Or you guys can get a chance to win a shirt either following the Land Shark Fishing Gear Instagram page. By the way, all of these links will be linked in the description box below, or the facebook.com Land Shark Fishing Gear page. So you guys got 3 chances to win. You might get lucky and win all 3 and get 3 shirts. As I said, you guys can pick whatever you guys want, so it would be a huge help to me. That is the beauty about YouTube, is I get to talk to you guys through the camera and I get your input and we can grow this thing together. So let's move on to filleting the snook. So what I like to do with any fish, doesn't matter whether it's snapper, grouper, whatever it is, I always like to start around the head. And I always like to feel whether there's head meat that protrudes into the head like a mahi-mahi or a dolphin. So this snook right here, his head meat kind of ends around here. So what we're gonna do is lift his little pec fin up, and I'm just gonna go straight down. And one thing I highly recommend is a very sharp knife for snook because they have really thick scales. So what I did is I make that incision right along there. And what we're gonna do is, now I'm gonna feel with my knife and just glide along the backbone. You can feel your knife making contact with the backbone the whole time. And I'm just gonna go just with the tip of my knife, just like that right there. And we're gonna go all the way down to the tail. And so this is just kind of outlining your fillet. So once we got the outline of our fish, I'm going to lift this flap up that we have, and then I just repeat the process and I just keep gliding down. Just riding my knife along the backbone. And it really is the same thing for every fish, but I know a lot of people, including myself back in the day, I used to watch all these YouTube videos on how to fillet this specific fish and this specific fish, but it's like once you really learn the foundation and principle of one fish, you kind of master them all, you know? So now what I can do is, when I get to this point right here and I'm over to the other side, I'll make an incision right there and I go down so I don't miss meat, and I'll go down along the tail and I'll just cut that off right there, get rid of this little belly meat, and now we're just attached right here at the belly. Cut it, boom, there you go. See, that's what your fish fillet should look like. If I run my knife here, it's not really meat, it's just straight bone. We didn't miss any meat there. It's exactly what you do. So the second side of a fish fillet generally never comes out as good as the first, but we're gonna make sure it does. So the exact same thing, I just look for the backbone. And the reason that's always harder to fillet this side is because your fish isn't flat now, because you took off this side, especially with a fish like a tuna, which has a really round, broad body. So if you put your fillet right against the edge of your table, and just always feel for that backbone. And another thing I gotta add is no matter what you're filleting, it's all about angle and your leverage. So as you guys saw when the snook was turned this way, when I went down, I went from his head to this tail. I'm gonna do the exact opposite this time. I'm gonna lift the flap of skin up there because it's just in my favor at this angle for me to do it this way. It's just whatever's more comfortable for you. Do the same thing. And generally the hardest part you're ever going to experience with filleting a fish is always going to be around the rib cage. You want to make sure you ride over a fish's ribs, not through them. Okay. And there we go. All of this, that's what your fillet should look like. You should almost be able to see through it like a newspaper, very translucent. Now, this is Brooke and I's favorite part, and she was actually saying this behind the camera, is the stomach. So normally when we fillet snook, you almost always find them empty, but this guy has a full stomach, and I can already tell what that's gonna be. What do you think?
It's gonna be a mullet.
Oh yeah. So right now is the mullet run, for those of you who don't know, and that's one of the reasons snook fishing is so good right now, and this guy looks like he has a giant mullet in him. Mullet ready? Oh yeah. So this is the size of the mullet that was in him. You know, he's not that big of a snook, he was about 30 inches, but that's a pretty substantial mullet. That's like an 8 to 10 incher. And he's pretty digested.
And he was still hungry.
He was hungry enough to eat my lure. He also had this thing in his stomach, which looks like a smaller mullet. Like a finger mullet, and then he also had whatever this was, the remains of that. And he had this mullet, and he still wanted more. If you guys live on the water, or even if you don't, always pop the eyes of fish if you're gonna throw them in, because number one, it's gonna prevent your fish from floating up, and then you're not gonna piss people off, because when fish float up, they decay, other fish aren't able to get to them, and it smells really bad. So a lot of people always ask, why do we poke the eyes? Because the gases will actually build up in the fish's eyes and around there. And if you don't poke the eyes, it's enough air to make them float. We got our fish filleted. We got the two beautiful slabs, and this is some of the whitest meat you guys can get your hands on. And actually, this is one fish that you will never find in a store. In the US, you will not find snook in stores, at least to my knowledge. Snook are not sold commercially. You're not allowed to fish for them commercially, and you're only allowed to keep them at certain times of the year, so they're definitely a treat for Florida fishermen. One of the reasons the snook meat is so white is because I actually popped its throat when I caught it. So you have, I don't know whether it's an artery or what, but you have this little artery in there that you pop actually when you catch them, and it bleeds them out, which just leads for a nicer fillet, a firmer fillet. Or you can just slit its throat, which is kind of self-explanatory, and you watch them bleed out, and it will result in nice, cleaner, whiter fillets. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this guy over for his final swim.
Oh wait.
So for skinning, you can use the same knife, but I like a longer knife, something that, you know, is going to be longer than the width of your fish, and a thinner knife preferably. And just like any other fish to skin, you just glide it along. There you have it. There's the skin. One reason people like snook is they don't have the smallest bloodline, but they don't have a very fishy bloodline, if that makes any sense. And now they also don't have that much waste. So around here, this was the belly meat. A lot of people will actually eat this. A lot of people cut it out. I'm going to cut it out right here and kind of go underneath. You can go underneath them. And this is meat. It's just there's bone mixed in between there. So you can cook this and you just got to kind of peel it off the bone. And then you also have bone right here along its backbone, which we're going to cut out. And that's it. The rest of your fillet, this is all meat. You got no bone. Snook meat, a lot of yield, really good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys like this content, like these type of videos, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be having a lot of stuff like this in the future. Now, as I said guys, don't sleep on that giveaway. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be giving away shirts weekly, monthly. We're trying to grow this thing together. And you guys, the beauty about the Instagram and Facebook is I can do a lot of polls and stuff on there, and it'll give you guys the sneak peek behind projects that I'm developing, whether they're shirts or hats or anything it may be. I want to take this thing to the next level and have you guys help me and get your feedback. So all those links in the description box below. I'll be seeing all you guys, my land sharks, in that next video.